Hi class, this is William. This video, we're going to be looking at the most important communication skill, that of effective listening. You'll also notice in this video that I did a little modification to the design of the slides. Hopefully this will make it a little less monotonous. Now there are 4 communication skills: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. These are listed in the order of how much Americans use the most. So we actually listen more than any other communication skill. In addition to that, according to research done by the Bloomberg News Service in coordination with the Wharton Business School, they looked at Fortune 500 companies to see which skills people use the most as they climb up an organizational ladder. And what they found was that effective listening was the most important to gaining leadership roles in corporate America. Despite listening being one of the most important communication skills, interestingly, 52% of colleges and universities in the United States do not even offer a course in it. Imagine. We've already looked at how important communication is. Listening is the most important communication skill, and yet many people who get degrees in communication have never even taken an elective in this class. This would be similar to somebody getting a degree in vocal performance having never sang in a choir. Why do you suppose it is that listening isn't offered at more colleges and universities? Arguably, the most common reason is because people mistake listening with hearing. But they're very different. Hearing is a passive response to sound, while listening is an active pursuit of understanding. I saw one estimate that said that we hear 1 billion word equivalents per year. 1 billion with a B. There's no way that you could possibly listen to that many. Effective listening is the process of selecting, attending, understanding, remembering, and responding to messages. So it's a 5-step process. Now let's go over each of these 5 steps. First, selecting. With selecting, we choose what to pay attention to. As I mentioned numerous times in this course, the most valuable thing that you can give to anybody is your attention. There are a lot of different sounds and messages attempting to compete for that attention. Selecting is simply when you choose what to pay attention to. So if you're visiting in a crowded cafeteria, there's a lot of different conversations and sounds going on around you. Selecting is when you choose to listen to your friend. The second step is attending. Attending is when we focus our attention on the selected message. So, in that crowded cafeteria, as you focus your attention on your friend, you might notice that all the other conversations seem to almost blur. In other words, it's almost like people aren't talking in normal English. They're mumbling. Things are a little bit quieter. Meanwhile, your friend is speaking with very clear, crisp English. This is a trick that our brain plays on us to try to reduce the temptation to listen to competing messages. Another example would be if you're at a sports arena or a theater, and you look through the audience to try to find a friend. When you find your friend, you focus your attention on your friend, and all of a sudden your friend, very crisp and clear. Meanwhile, the people around your friend are oftentimes kind of blurry. This is one reason why as we walk up to our friend and say hi and begin visiting with our friend, and then we notice next to them, sitting down, is another friend of ours. It's common for us to say, "I didn't see you there." Well, of course that other person was well within our field of vision, but our brain, in order to help us be able to focus our attention, blurred that other person. The third step is understanding. Understanding is simply assigning meaning to the message. Now, one thing that is relatively unique about human communication is that this stage typically includes context. For example, if later today you were walking down the street and somebody comes up and gives you a hug, what does the hug mean? Well, obviously, it has a lot to do with who is hugging you. If it's a loved one, a friend, a relative, then it's a show of affection, happy to see you, a friendly greeting. What if it's a complete stranger? Well, obviously it would have a completely different meaning. So we filter these things through context. Now, if you give your dog a good piece of meat, what does your dog think? Good meat. If a complete and utter stranger gives your dog a piece of meat, what does the dog think? Good meat. The dog certainly has an understanding of the relationship difference, but that context doesn't alter the element of the communication. Somebody giving him a piece of meat. Meanwhile, humans, we typically do take into account things like relationship to understand the element, such as a hug. The fourth step is remembering. Here, we store information into long or short-term memory for later use. Short-term memory is used to understand the current episode, the current conversation or event, and typically it's for immediate use. Long-term memory, on the other hand, impacts the relationship. It's for later use, and oftentimes is for strong emotional content. This is the reason that many Americans fully remember what they were doing the morning of September 11th, 2001, but couldn't tell you what they were doing the afternoon of March 15th, 2011. Despite the fact that it's about 10 years more recent, if there's not a strong emotional content, they don't hold on to it. As an aside, this is one reason why if you ever have to break bad news to a young child, like you have to tell them that a family member passed away, it's important not to take them to their favorite location. Despite the temptation to say, well, she really likes Dairy Queen, so we're going to go to Dairy Queen and sit in our favorite booth, look out the window at our favorite park, order her favorite Blizzard, this is the last thing we should do. Because when you tell her the news, oftentimes this location, the taste of the Blizzard, the smell, the sights, all of that will become associated with that bad news. It's better if you have to tell her that, for example, her grandmother passed away. Take her to a place that is comfortable, but can forever be memorialized to her grandmother. Finally, the fifth step of effective listening is responding. Responding is when the message takes effect. If a message was informative, this is where our understanding expands. If it was persuasive, this is when you accept or reject the message. If funny, you laugh. If disgusting, you feel nauseated. Typically, we have some external manifestation or display of our response. This is to indicate to the speaker we got it. For example, if the speaker tells you a joke that you don't find to be particularly funny, you will oftentimes still smile or even laugh, not because it's funny, because you want to show the speaker you understood the joke, you understood that it was a joke, they don't need to spend any more time explaining it to you. That concludes our video on effective listening. Next, you're going to be watching some videos on listening barriers, behaviors that we engage in that inhibit our listening ability. Please pay careful attention to these. When you recognize yourself engaging in these behaviors, if you can refrain yourself from doing so, you can dramatically improve your listening ability. As always, if you have any questions, please remember to email me at uspolaris@gmail.com. That's uspolaris@gmail.com. Also, you can reach me during office hours, during our GChat sessions, and any other way in which this course offers to get a hold of me. Thank you very much.